How you doing, Mr. Green?
Good. I'm Ron Green, Chief Professional Officer for Boys and Girls Clubs of Nash, Edgecombe County. I've been here in Rocky Mount, the Nash Edgecombe County area for next month be 3 years. So it seems like it's been a lot longer than that, or a lot less than that.
Yeah.
But it's 3 years, and you look back over it, it's been one of those fast 3 years, but it's been a fun 3 years.
Okay. So you're from the Mississippi area. So what made you transition out here to the Carolinas?
Well, I grew up in. I actually was born in Chicago.
Okay.
And I know a lot of people hear about Chicago on the news, and a lot of times it's because the wrong thing.
Yeah.
But also, I grew up in Mississippi.
Okay.
And that was one of those reasons why my parents decided to raise us in Mississippi. They were from Mississippi. Chicago was a little tough back then, and still tough to this day. So they wanted to raise us in I guess a safer environment.
Okay.
A lot less, gang affiliation and those type of things. And then we moved from Chicago and ended up moving in housing projects in Tupelo, Mississippi.
So nothing really changed in one project. Okay.
We still at the same brick structure.
Yeah.
Just a lot fewer people.
Yeah.
But one of the things that I saw just growing up in Mississippi was more of a family type environment.
Okay.
Had a lot of family around, and not only did we have a lot of family around in Mississippi, but also your neighbors were more, a lot friendly.
Okay.
They're a lot friendlier than they probably were when we were in Chicago. I mean, I was really young when we were in Chicago, so I really didn't know a lot about living there. But my growing up was in Mississippi, and ended up going to college in Alabama.
Okay.
At Sanford University in Birmingham, and went from Mississippi to Alabama. And when I was in school, I had an opportunity to play 2 sports, baseball and football, and ended up signing a professional baseball contract to play in the Chicago Cubs organization, and that moved me from Arizona to Florida, and then playing baseball just kind of all around.
Okay. So you've seen a lot of parts of America.
Yeah.
You see the good and the bad, basically.
Yeah, from the east to the west coast, north to south.
Okay. Yeah.
And a lot of it's not much difference when you go into some of those areas. Of course, a lot of the I guess you would say urban areas, and you would go in and you would see some things that you probably wouldn't see in more rural areas. But all people are people.
Yeah.
Regardless of where you go, people are people, and they're good people and bad people in all the different places.
Yeah. So can you tell me how you got started with the Boys and Girls Club?
Yeah.
Okay.
I was actually playing baseball, and I wanted to do something for the kids in the community, baseball related, because there's a program called RBI, which is Reviving Baseball in the Inner Cities.
Okay.
Those programs weren't being implemented in my hometown, but what they would do would go in and try to reintroduce baseball into the rural areas. I saw fewer and fewer African Americans playing baseball, and I wanted to go into an area where there were many African American youth and reintroduce baseball to them. Because when I went to the Boys and Girls Club, all they did was, they didn't have a club when I was growing up there, but they ended up establishing one, and I would go by and visit the club, and they were playing basketball, of course, pickup football.
Yeah.
And nobody was swinging a bat. And the club was located in an area where I grew up playing baseball.
Wow.
And found my love for the game. And so I decided to reintroduce baseball, and I called a couple of guys that played professionally as well. And I said, hey, we're going to give back to the club, to these kids. So they came in, we did free baseball camps for the kids. And I raised some money to help offset some travel for some guys to come in and everything, so they can actually have professional athletes there.
Wow.
And we came in and we did a free camp for them, and we had a lot of fun. Okay. But the day of the camp, halfway through the camp, it started raining.
Okay.
So these kids were gonna miss out on, an opportunity, because of the rain. And it was a really cool picture that was in the paper. One of the kids in the dugout, during what we consider a rain delay.
Okay.
Standing outside trying to catch water in his mouth coming from the rain. It reminded me a lot of playing baseball. When we was doing rain delays, we were doing a lot of crazy stuff. So, and you have those kids out there doing some of the similar things we're doing. Yeah. Okay. And I found myself after that day, I said, well, I'm going to go by and see that. I started developing a bond with the kid. And I found myself going every single day, going to help with homework or going to do other things and with the club. And finally, after many games of table tennis and shooting pool and running around with the kids, I left and went to play another season of baseball. And I started thinking about a career change. And baseball wasn't exciting me as much as it was. It was a business, of course.
Yeah,
baseball was a business. And I found that, I found more enjoyment working with young people than I did playing baseball. And they kept offering me opportunities with the club, and I said, nah, I'm doing what I was, as a little boy, was dreaming to do, play baseball, professional baseball. So I decided, after, a long deliberation, to just give up baseball and start working with Boys and Girls Club.
Man, that's a big change, man.
It was a huge change, and the kids thought I was crazy.
Yeah.
They kept saying, Mr. King, you crazy. They called me Mr. Ron back then. Mr. Ron, you are crazy. How you going to give up playing professional baseball and come work with Boys and Girls Club? And the thing that fascinated me about that was that they really didn't have the value that they had on their own lives was not as high as it should have been.
Okay. But like low expectations?
Yeah, well they were seeing themselves as a lower value than me playing baseball.
Oh, I get what you're saying.
And me working with them is, I'm stepping down.
Mm-hmm.
I'm
But really, you was upgrading. You went from just playing baseball to helping inspire kids' lives.
To change their lives. And that's the thing that really drove me. That's when they started saying that. I was saying, okay, they hold sports way up here.
Yeah.
And they hold life, here. So I got to, do this. Sports is just a part of life.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not the only thing in life. And that's the only thing they could see was playing professional basketball, professional football, and then, professional baseball. Professional athlete was what they thought they had to do in order to get out of their environment.
Wow.
Because the majority of those kids, grew up in low-income neighborhoods. They were in either a housing project or they were in some of those other areas that, just basically low income. And those kids thought that the only way out was to play a professional sport. And I wanted them to understand that everyone is not going to make it. But you can go professional, you can go pro in something a lot more things other than baseball or football or basketball.
Yeah.
So I got hooked, man. I started going every day. They hired me, and I started making it a career, man. And 15 years later, I'm still doing it.
Then that's like my story is to encourage the brothers and sisters out there who seems that sometimes avenues get cut off. Like you said, most people view professional baseball or football as the only way to escape. I know since you've been in Rocky Mount, I think you team up with a lot of industries out here. Can you just share some light on what you're doing in the Rocky Mount area?
Yeah, we want to introduce the kids to as many people as possible.
Okay.
Because a lot of times they never see outside of their neighborhoods. I mean, they go to school and the teachers teach, and we hope that they are being inspiring to the young people. But in reality, when you got, 30 plus in your classroom, you got some that need more help than others. A lot of times throughout the day, you're not getting that one-on-one or that hand that you need, the hand up that you really need.
Yeah.
And some of the things we do at Boys and Girls Club is actually giving them, that sense of belonging, a sense of usefulness, a sense of, just being somebody who cares.
Okay.
You know, if somebody cares about you, because you know there's a lot of people out there that are offering those things like the power, sense of power and influence, your sense of competency. There's a lot of people out there that are offering those same things, and they're doing it in a negative way.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, we look at gangs and we see gangs trying to do some of the same things that we're doing.
Family oriented, you know,
Yeah.
brotherly love,
Yeah.
and this is your family.
Yeah.
So the Boys and Club.
Give them that power,
Uh-huh.
influence. Give them that sense of competency. You know, they teaching the hands. Notice the hand shakes, the signs and all this. And,
Like even what clothes to wear. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, they feel competent. You know, they feel like, hey, I know this.
Okay.
Then we can be doing the same thing in school, and we can do the same thing in Boys and Girls Club. Hey, I know this. You know, we got a Boys and Girls Club handshake.
Okay. Okay.
We got a
Okay.
Boys and Girls Club, you know, shirts and emblems. No, we want them to belong and know that they belong to something that's trying to help them to better their lives, so that when they grow up, you know, they have a better chance at being successful or succeeding in what they dream to become. You know.
Okay. Amen. Amen.
Yeah.
So
you know,
where you look like? Can you give the viewers a place where they can be located so the kids that want to join?
We have 3 locations right now. We have one in Rocky Mount, which is on Raleigh Road.
Okay.
Raleigh Boulevard.
It's Raleigh. I think it's Boulevard. They change every 3 years.
Yeah.
Okay.
In Nashville, it's in the old W.L. Green School.
Okay.
And then we operate also a site out of the Princeville Elementary School.
Okay. Okay.
You know, we're working. We're in conversation now, trying to expand a little bit more.
Okay.
At one point in time, this organization used to be in 5 different communities.
Wow.
And unfortunately, they had to close down 2 of the clubs that were in Edgecombe County, one in Battleboro and one in Pinetown. But we're trying to redo some things in some of those areas, because we know we're trying to locate clubs in areas where kids need us the most.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we're working on that, but of course it takes money to fund one of those clubs, and we're trying to do everything we can to raise funding to make sure that when young people, you know, have an opportunity to come through our doors, that money isn't the reason why they can't.
Yeah.
And we don't want that. We want them to come in, and if they got any reason why they can't, is because other things that they're involved in school, whether it's sports, whether it's, you know, cheerleading or debate teams or whatever it may be.
Yeah.
It's the cause of them not showing up at the club.
So how can people go about funding the Boys and Girls? Do y'all take donations, or how do you?
We take donations. It costs us probably around anywhere between $2,000 and $2,500 a year for one kid to come to the club.
Wow.
Now, of course, we don't ask people to pay that. What we try to do, we try to go out and get that, raise that money ourselves, and to offset some of the costs. You know, there are some programmatic fees that 12 and under have to pay, because we pick up at every school, and except for the schools that we've worked out an agreement with the school system that they drop kids off at the club.
Okay, that's good.
And they save kids a lot of money, save us a lot of money.
Yeah, okay, okay.
And, you know, the thing about being a member of Boys and Girls Club, one thing, once you become a member, you're always a member. You know, you might not be an active member, just like our fraternity, for example. You know, even if you're not an active member, you're still a member.
Yeah.
You know, once you get those letters, you know, you're a member of the fraternity. But the thing is, you know, you want to make sure that people are involved as much as possible, because, you know, you have so many people that have so much to give. We want to make sure that everyone has an opportunity to give, because just like the fraternities and sororities, we want to make sure we want to make a difference in our community.
Yeah,
Boys and Girls Club, we're definitely trying to make a difference in the future of our community.
Amen, amen. And Mr. Green, I really appreciate your conversation. I learned some new stuff about you. I didn't know about the baseball, but from day one I met you, you always had that personality, like, man, hey, I can help somebody, you know, and I really appreciate, and I guess the Rocky Mount, Wilson, Greenville, and Raleigh area has learned a little bit more about you. And I just thank you for encouraging us that, you know, once you be in the city, you don't have to always stay there. You can always change your destiny. And I just asked you one person who kind of influenced you before we end this interview.
Yeah.
You name some of the people who was in your life that kind of influenced you?
Yeah, sure. You know, and throughout my life, and I think I grew up kind of like a lot of the young men that are here today. You know, we talk about, you know, being in a fatherless home. You know, my dad was there sometimes he wasn't.
Okay.
You know, and I look back over things, I see there are times when I thought that he didn't care at all, when I saw that he did actually care. But, you know, I think, and the reason why he wasn't as good of a father as he was, you know, I look back over things and started researching kind of family history. He never really knew his father, you know, and I think I may have been, before I actually got a chance to meet my grandfather, I was probably a teenager, you know, before I actually got a chance to meet him. And, you know, my father didn't really know his father. He grew up in his grandparents' home. And come to find out through asking questions, his father didn't know his father.
Wow.
So the cycle just was continuing. And he was trying to break it, but I think the thing was he just really didn't know how. And, you know, I was able to reach out to, you know, others. And I have another cousin who, you know, I was really inspired by him growing up. You know, him and his wife was together. They had a home. They had a nice house in a nice neighborhood. You know, and I thought that was just something that, you know, I would want to do one day.
Yeah.
And, you know, I tell you, you know, throughout my career and playing sports, there were a lot of coaches who influenced me as well. But, you know, when I became a Boys and Girls Club professional, there became some Boys and Girls Club professionals that really, you know, helped me become who I am today. But I tell you the thing that most young people need to do. Okay. You need to read more.
Amen.
You know,
Amen.
Not only read some of these magazines about these rappers and you know, a lot of these things about, you know, what's on Facebook and all that. Read some memoirs of some people who have had to overcome some struggles in their life. You know, read some of those things. And, you know, one of my favorite books is John Wooden's book, and it's called Wooden. And as a matter of fact, I have it here on my shelf here.
Okay.
And a lot of times I give this book to you know, the young athletes or young professionals who are looking to motivate others. And I'm sure when he wrote the book, you know, he probably was doing it from I know he was doing it from a life coach perspective. Okay. Not just a basketball coach, but a life coach. And it's a very, you know, nice read. I was actually reading this book once, and I'm going to let you get this on the camera. I was reading this book once, and I was in the airport, and I saw this guy standing over there, and I was like, I think I know him. Ron. Yeah, that's Senator Barack Obama. Oh, so I go up and I go.
Chicago. Okay.
Well, I was actually in the airport in Memphis, Tennessee. I go up and I speak to him, and you know, I say, you know, he was very inspirational leader, charismatic, and some of those things. And I was like, I'm reading this book. I know it's not your book, but would you mind autographing it for me? And he looked at the book and said, oh, yeah, this is a good book. And he signed it for me. So my Wooden book here, if I let somebody borrow that, it's on the time.
I can understand that. I can definitely understand that.
You go around the corner, you know, you need to bring it on back. But just reading, educating yourself, becoming more knowledgeable about worldly events, because it helps you to become, you know, more than help you become better than the cards that you're dealt sometimes. Yeah. You know, the cards that I was dealt growing up were some. If I looked at it, sometimes you want to fold your hand. But when you have people in your life who encourages you, or you're reading, you see some people who have overcome some things, sometimes it gives you that energy and that strength to go ahead and continue to fight, man. And you know, two of the things I live by this. Keep God first. Okay. Family second. And others third. And then, you know, you can have a really good life. You most time make the right decisions. And, you know, and I'm a member of a fraternity as well. So a lot of my brothers and sisters out there that are in Greek organizations. I always say family first. Faith first. Family second.
Mm-hmm.
Finance third.
Definitely.
And then fraternity.
Okay, I like that.
You know,
I like that.
You gotta have you have to have strong faith. And you gotta love your family. Keep your family close. And then you gotta have your finances right. It's hard to stay active in the fraternity if you can't pay your dues and those things, because there's a lot of things that you need to do, and and helping others and those type of things. And when you talk about finances, it goes back to working, having a job, having that entrepreneurial mindset, and thinking outside the box, being creative, and understanding that you can have the next best thing in this world. I'm sure when Steve Jobs was building the Mac, he didn't think that it was going to fail. I'm sure he thought it was going to be successful.
Yeah.
And it has. Apple was able to do a lot.
I seen that movie the other day, Jobs. That's a great movie. And what you're saying, he had a dream to be bigger than IBM.
Yes.
Yeah. For failure was not the answer for him. No, it was. Yeah.
And you think about the number of times people fail. They said the Wright brothers, when they was working on their airplane, trying to be the first to fly.
Okay.
They would take spare parts with them whenever they go to practice, because they knew that they were going to crash. And what they wanted to do before the end of the day was get up as many times as they could, in the day. And so they knew they were going to fail. But when that one time when they took off and started soaring, and the rest is history.
Yeah.
We're one idea away from changing the world. I want people to understand that no matter what economic background you come from, what color you are, how old you are, whatever it may be, you still have the key to revolutionizing the world and changing mankind. It's in us. We just got to get it out, and sometimes it takes others to help us get it out.
Amen.
Just like you come in and talking to us now, man. And I know we're on the camera saying this, but I'm really inspired by your drive, your determination to continue to work forward, man, and press forward and show that not only that you're a man, but at the same time that you have something to share with the world. And when you have those ideas and you have those visions, all you have to do is just put the plan in place and implement it.
Okay.
And once that happens, man, through you doing this, you never know who you're going to inspire.
Amen.
You might inspire the next, Spike Lee or something, and or the next Denzel Washington, and really, man, just continue to do what God has placed within them to, in order to be successful.
Amen. Like I said, this is a different spin. We're not talking about no gang violence. We ain't trying to promote no craziness. This is about really helping people. And once again, thank you, Mr. Ron Green, for this great interview. And may this help someone today.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Appreciate it.